Hello Internet, this is JJ from 9 to 5 Studios. It's time for another Civilization 5 tip session. This video will talk about two of the basic opening strategies and key questions every player should be asking themselves during the beginning of their game. The first question needs to be answered before you pick your first policy, and that question is, are you going to be a tall civ or a wide civ? Now both of these strategies are more like guidelines. You're going to break from them in certain ways, but during the course of the game it provides a good framework for developing your civilization. The goal of a tall civ philosophy is to create a limited number of very highly efficient cities. The goal is to maximize the science and culture production while minimizing unhappiness and penalties associated with owning many cities. Your first civ policy track is almost always tradition. 4 cities is usually the number of cities to go for to capitalize on legalism, which gives a free culture building in the first 4 of your cities. Something to note here is that the legalism policy doesn't specify which culture building it's going to give you. It will simply give you the next culture building available. So if you've already built a monument in some of your cities, it will provide you with the amphitheater as soon as you research that tech. The wide civ strategy is interested more in territory than efficiency. The objective is to capture as much territory as their happiness will allow. The opening policy choice here can either be liberty and/or tradition. Building settlers fast with a collective rule policy will limit time wasted on building settlers. You can always get the free culture buildings provided by legalism at a later time. Alright, enough with the schooling. Let's get on to the example. In this example, we're choosing random civilizations, so I can't make a decision yet based on the unique abilities. However, we're playing on a small map, which usually requires 6 civilizations, and we've closed 2 spots. This means that there's going to be plenty of land out there to claim, and a wide strategy is going to be better adapted to claiming that land faster. Crap. I've been assigned to India. The unique ability cuts overpopulation unhappiness in half, while doubling penalties for settling new cities. This civ is perfect for a tall civ strategy. I have to make a choice here before I pick a social policy. In the end, I've decided that I wanted to claim as much land as I can, given that there's extra space out there in the world. The second question you have to ask yourself is, am I keeping this spot for my capital city? Normally, civilization does a pretty good job of seeding your initial start with the resources you need. However, sometimes there's a mountain just within 1 turn of your settler that you should move to. That mountain will provide serious science benefits later on when you get the observatory. Finally, the third question you have to ask yourself is, can I make the Great Library? The Great Library Wonder provides 1 free technology, plus 3 science, and a free library in the city in which it's built. You need to take a good look at your territory and determine if you really have a shot at the Great Library. Choosing not to build it and building the regular library instead is not a bad idea. Going for the Great Library and missing is wasting a ton of production and turns that could have been spent elsewhere, and that's where you could really get your civ in trouble early. In this case, with copper and stone already within range of my capital, and knowing who my competition is, I'm deciding I'm going for it. My first step is to get mining to capitalize on the copper and stone near my capital. After that, I'm going straight for the Great Library. Now, as far as the first thing to build, it should almost always be a scout, and there are 3 reasons for this. 1, obviously you want to find as many ruins as possible before any other civilization gets there. 2, finding and establishing your second city as soon as possible is very important. The more you light up around your capital, the harder it will be for barbarians to start stealing your workers and pillaging your lands. You want to build at least 1 and possibly 2 scouts, depending on how much land there is available in the game. Awesome. I got the Great Library, and it's turn 34. The average is around 40, depending on difficulty level or the multiplayer opponents you're playing against. From here, I take the most expensive tech and begin securing my lands nearby and prepare to build that second city. It's turn 38, and I've got my third policy. I'm going to put that point into the collective rule policy so I can get my free settler. From here, I can build my second city. Thanks to the Great Library, I'm now 3 techs ahead of the next civilization. After building that second or third city, you really need to build that national college. Get libraries into your other cities as soon as possible so you can make this happen. It's turn 66 when I build a national college. My beakers per turn goes from 22 to 35. The next closest civ is at 18. It's a huge tech lead. On top of that, I've discovered 4 more techs than the closest civ. I'm also the first to get a religion. Religions are going to help mitigate the unhappiness penalty I have for establishing new cities. Since I'm first, tithe is usually the first one I go for. The money is just too good to pass up. The second one is going to be one of the religious buildings, as they almost always provide happiness. Finally, we arrive at turn 79. At this point, I've completed the Liberty Tech Tree, and I'm getting my Great Scientist as my Great Person of choice. I'll be using him to create an academy to boost my science even further. By turn 88, I will be making 52 beakers per turn, compared to the next civ at 31. By turn 101, I'll have a 6 tech lead over my next opponent. Overall, things are looking pretty good for my civilization. I'm at the top of the leaderboard, I've got a huge tech lead over my opponents, and my continent is really starting to come together. However, this is just turn 79. There's still a lot of choices that I can make wrong from here on out. If you want to see how things turn out in this game, be sure to check into our Season 5 of Civilization V Brave New World Let's Play. You'll be able to see exactly where things go wrong at my civ and how other civs start to compete against me. If you'd like to see some other topics covered, please let us know in the comments. Rich and I will probably do a couple more discussion or strategy talks for not only Civ, but for other games as well. Thanks for listening. This is JJ from 9 to 5 Studios, signing out.